Marielle slammed the bathroom door behind her, her breath coming in sharp, broken bursts as she gripped the edge of the marble sink. Her voice trembled even as she tried to keep it steady. "Lysander, I said just once. Why didn't you stop?" Her reflection stared back at her, eyes wet, chest rising and falling like she'd run a marathon. Behind her, the soft thud of footsteps echoed on the hotel suite's polished floor. The door creaked open slowly, deliberately. Lysander leaned his shoulder against the frame, shirt undone, hair a little messy, eyes dark with something she wasn't sure she had the strength to name. "Because," he murmured, "I couldn't. I've waited too long to touch you, too long pretending I didn't feel this." Her heart punched against her ribs. "This was supposed to be one night," she whispered, voice barely holding together. "A favor, a memory, something simple." "Nothing about you has ever been simple," he said quietly. Her knees weakened. His voice always did that. She squeezed her eyes shut, shaking her head as the scene fast-forwarded in her mind. How it all began hours earlier, in a Brooklyn cafe that felt far too small for the confession she dropped like a bomb between them. "Let's go back," she breathed, not aloud, but in her mind. Because that was where everything shattered and everything began. Earlier that afternoon, Marielle had been sitting at the small corner table, twisting the straw in her iced coffee until it nearly cracked. When Lysander walked in, the room seemed to shift. He always carried that quiet power with him, a calm beneath the surface that made people stare without knowing why. And yet, when he saw her, the confidence slid from his face, replaced with the soft warmth he only ever gave her. "Hey," he said, sliding into the chair across from her. "You okay? You sound weird on the phone." She forced a smile that wobbled. "I'm fine, I just need to talk to you." He leaned forward. "About what?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she watched his fingers drum softly on the table, steady, warm, familiar. If she looked at those hands too long, she might lose her nerve. So she inhaled deeply, gripped the edge of the table, and said the sentence that had lived in her throat for months. "I want you to take my virginity." His hand froze mid-tap. The shock on his face was almost boyish. "Marry." His voice broke a little. "What are you talking about?" She swallowed, forcing herself to hold his gaze. "I'm 26. I've waited because I wanted the first time to matter. Not romantically, emotionally, safely, with someone I trust." Her breath trembled, "And the only person I trust that much is you." He looked like someone had unplugged every wire in his brain. "Marielle, you can't just drop something like that on me." "I need this, Lysander." Her voice cracked. "And I need it with someone who won't hurt me. You're the only person who's ever made me feel safe." He exhaled shakily, dragging a hand through his hair. "You don't know what you're asking for." "Yes, I do," she whispered. "I thought about it for months." He stared at her, searching her face for some sign that she was joking. There was none, just raw sincerity, soft terror, quiet determination. "Marry," his voice softened. "What if this changes us?" "It won't," she lied. He saw right through it. They sat in silence, the hum of the cafe fading until all that existed was the electricity between their breaths. Finally, he leaned forward, elbows on the table, voice a low confession. "If I do this," he said slowly, "I won't be distant. I won't be casual. I'm not built that way. If you ask me to cross that line..." His eyes locked with hers, intense and devastating. "I don't know if I'll be able to go back." Her heart thudded painfully. "Just tonight," she insisted. "Just one night to feel wanted, seen, safe." "And what about me?" he asked, voice breaking. "Do you think I can give you one night and walk away like nothing happened?" Her lips parted, but no sound came out. He sighed deeply, looked away, and whispered, "You don't know what you're doing to me." "Then tell me no," she whispered. His jaw clenched, his fingers curled into fists. And she knew then she'd cornered him with the one thing he couldn't handle, her vulnerability. He reached across the table, brushing a thumb against her knuckles, eyes full of a tenderness she'd spent years pretending not to see. "Okay," he finally said. "If you're absolutely sure, I'll take care of you." Her heart jumped painfully. "I'm sure." "Then we're leaving," he said gently, standing. "Now." He didn't touch her arm, but she still felt guided, protected, as they walked out of the cafe. His presence alone was enough. She should have known then. She should have known nothing about this would be casual. In the Uber to the hotel, neither of them spoke. The city lights streaked across his face as he stared out the window, jaw tense. She watched him, watched the battle behind his eyes. Finally, he whispered, "I'm nervous." She blinked. "You're nervous?" He looked at her, a soft smile touching the corner of his lips. "Only with you." Her breath caught. Her fingers twitched. She wanted to reach for his hand, but didn't. They reached the hotel. He checked them in. He didn't announce a room number. He simply guided her inside with a gentle hand on the small of her back. The elevator ride stretched forever. When the doors closed, he finally spoke. "If anything feels wrong," he murmured, "you tell me immediately. I trust you." He looked at her like the words physically struck him. And when the elevator doors opened on their floor, everything felt fragile, electric, inevitable. When they entered the suite, he closed the door and leaned against it for a second, breathing hard. "Mari," he whispered, "once I touch you, I won't be able to pretend I'm fine anymore." "What do you mean?" He stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I mean, I'm already losing my mind." Her stomach flipped. "Lysander," he cupped her cheek gently, "you still want this?" "Yes." He kissed her, slow, controlled, terrified, and everything changed. As his lips moved against hers, she felt something break open, something warm and devastating. She clutched his shirt, pulling him closer, and he groaned softly like he'd waited years for this. When they stumbled to the bed, his hands trembled. "Tell me to stop," he whispered, voice desperate. "I won't." He exhaled shakily. "Then God help me." Hours later, everything she feared would happen did, and now she stood in the bathroom, staring at herself, shaking. Behind her, Lysander stepped inside, closing the door gently. "Mari, look at me." She didn't. He touched her arm lightly. "I'm not stopping because I can't go back to pretending I don't love you." Her breath caught violently. He whispered, "And I'm done pretending." Marielle's breath shook as she finally lifted her eyes to him. It felt like standing on the edge of a cliff she never meant to climb. The air between them was tight, almost trembling. Lysander stepped closer, slow, like she might bolt if he moved too fast. His fingers brushed her cheek, gentle but certain, and she felt that dangerous heat rising again, threatening to pull her under. "You love me?" she whispered, voice so thin it barely existed. He nodded once, like the truth hurt him. "Yeah," he said quietly. "More than I should, more than I ever planned to." She swallowed hard. "Why didn't you tell me?" He let out a tired breath, almost a laugh. "Because you were always the one thing I couldn't afford to lose. And if you didn't feel the same, that would have destroyed me." Her chest tightened painfully. "Lysander, this wasn't supposed to change anything." "It already has," he murmured. "You know that." Her throat closed. She turned away from him, gripping the counter again just to stay upright. Everything inside her was splitting, fear, longing, confusion, shock. She'd asked for one night, nothing more. She'd asked for safety, not this, not lifelong feelings, not confessions that rewrote the last 12 years of her life. He stood behind her, close enough that his warmth pressed against her back. "Talk to me," he whispered. "Please." "I can't," she whispered. "Not yet." He exhaled shakily, stepped back, and for a moment she could breathe again. Her mind raced in violent circles, every memory of him overlapping with the truth he'd confessed. All those times he'd looked at her too long, all the times he'd protected her, listened to her, checked on her. Was it always love? Had she been blind? He moved toward the door. "I'll wait in the living room. Take your time." She didn't answer. But when he stepped out, closing the door softly behind him, she felt cold instantly. Empty. The silence pressed in on her chest until she could barely breathe. She splashed water on her face, wiped the tears, pulled herself together. She didn't have answers yet, but she couldn't hide in the bathroom forever. When she finally stepped into the living room, Lysander was standing by floor-to-ceiling windows, staring out at the New York skyline like he was trying to steady himself. He didn't turn around immediately. He just said softly, "I'm sorry if I scared you." "You didn't," she replied. He looked at her then. His eyes were raw, vulnerable in a way she'd never seen. "Then what are you feeling?" She sank onto the couch. "I don't know. Everything." He moved slowly, almost cautiously, and sat beside her, but not too close. It touched her deeply, the way he respected her space even when his heart was clearly unraveling. "You didn't do anything wrong," she said softly. "I just didn't expect this to happen." "You didn't expect me to love you," he said, not accusingly, just truthfully. "No," she admitted. "I thought I was safe asking you. I thought you'd be unaffected. Affected? He repeated with a humorless laugh. Marielle, I haven't been unaffected since the first day you walked into my fifth-grade classroom with that crooked ponytail and an attitude bigger than the whole state. She blinked, stunned. You remember that? I remember everything, he said quietly. Every version of you. Her breath hitched. Then why pretend all these years? Because you deserve to choose your life, he whispered. Not be pressured by some guy who happened to love you since childhood. Her heart squeezed painfully. She touched her chest lightly, trying to calm the ache. This is too much. I know. He leaned back, staring at the ceiling. And I'm not asking for anything right now. I'm not asking you to say it back. I'm not asking you to decide tonight. I just can't lie anymore. She didn't realize tears were slipping down her cheeks until he noticed and gently wiped them away. His touch made her shiver, the same way it had in the bedroom, the same way it had her entire life. Lysander, she whispered, I can't be the reason your world gets messy. His eyebrows knit together. What? You're a millionaire, Lysander. People watch you, judge you, chase you. Your life is built on image and precision. I'm just me. That's exactly why I want you, he said fiercely. Because you're real, because you're not trying to impress anyone, because you see me. I'm scared. So am I. She let out a shaky breath. If this blows up, if people find out, if the internet runs wild, it'll be my face they drag, my name they twist, and I'm not sure I can survive that. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, hands clasped tightly. Then I'll protect you. You can't protect me from everything. I'll still try. She closed her eyes. Lysander. He looked at her with a softness that broke her. Just tell me one thing. Did tonight mean anything to you? Even a little? She hesitated. Then she whispered, yes. A sound escaped him. Relief, pain, hope all tangled together. But I don't know what to do with that, she added quickly. You don't have to decide anything tonight, he said again. Just let me be here. Let me support you. She looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. He leaned back, exhaling. Do you want to stay here tonight? Not for anything else, just to rest, to breathe. Her heart twisted at how gentle he was. Yes, I'll stay. Okay, he said softly. I'll sleep on the couch. Her eyes widened. Lysander, I'm not pushing anything, he interrupted quietly. Tonight is whatever makes you feel safe. Emotion stung her eyes. You don't have to do that. I do, he said simply, because I love you, and I want you to heal before you decide anything. She looked at him for a long moment. This man who never raised his voice, never lied to her, never broke her trust. This man who'd held himself back for years without ever letting her feel pressured. Lysander, she said softly, you can sleep beside me. Just sleep. His breath caught. Are you sure? She nodded. I don't want to be alone. He stood slowly, offering her his hand. When she took it, the warmth spread up her arm into her chest. He led her back to the bedroom, quietly, gently, as if the whole world depended on him not scaring her again. They slipped under the covers, fully clothed. He stayed on his side, stiff with self-control, hands tucked against his chest. You're really taking this seriously, she whispered into the dark. Of course I am, he said. You matter too much. She turned slightly toward him. Lysander, I don't know if I can give you what you want. He inhaled sharply. And I'm not asking you to. I just want you to know what you mean to me. Her eyes burned. I don't want to hurt you. You won't, he said softly, unless you walk away without giving us a chance. Her breath trembled. Is that what you want, a chance? With you, he whispered. Always. Silence fell, thick with emotion. She stared at the ceiling, her heart pounding painfully. She could feel his body heat beside her, steady and grounding. Lysander, she whispered, what if I ruin everything? Then we'll rebuild it, he murmured. Together. She exhaled shakily, turning her face into the pillow. Part of her wanted to run, part of her wanted to stay. And part of her, dangerous and aching, wanted him. Her voice was barely audible. We'll talk tomorrow. He nodded. I'll be here. She closed her eyes. Sleep didn't come. Not for either of them. Marielle woke to the sound of soft movement beside her, a quiet shift in the sheets. For a moment she thought it was a dream. Lysander lying next to her, still dressed, still careful, still holding himself like a man terrified to cross a line she hadn't drawn yet. His eyes were already open, staring at the ceiling, jaw tight with thoughts he wasn't voicing. You didn't sleep? She whispered. He turned his head slightly. Neither did you. She exhaled, the truth settling between them like heavy fog. Her heart hadn't slowed all night. Her mind hadn't shut up once. Every breath, every shift, every inch of the bed where he lay beside her made everything more real. His confession, her confusion, the thin line they were walking. Lysander pushed himself up slowly, rubbing the back of his neck. "Do you want breakfast? I can make something." She shook her head. "Lysander, we need to talk." He froze, hand falling to his lap. For the first time, fear flickered across his face. Not fear of rejection, but fear of hurting her, losing her, making the wrong move. "Okay," he said quietly. "Whatever you need to say, I'll listen." Marielle sat up too, pulling her knees to her chest. She looked down at her hands before forcing herself to meet his eyes. "What you told me last night, it changed everything." He swallowed hard. "I know. And I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of change. I feel like if we start this, everything in my life tilts. My job, my plans, my sense of stability, everything." His expression softened with understanding, not disappointment. "I get it. But at the same time," she took a shaky breath, "lying beside you didn't feel wrong. It didn't feel dangerous. It felt like something I've been pretending not to feel for a long time." His eyebrows pulled together, a quiet hope lighting his eyes. "Marielle?" "But that doesn't mean I know how to move forward," she said quickly. "I don't want to jump into something just because emotions are high." "Then we won't jump," he replied immediately. "We'll move slow as you need." Her voice cracked. "And what if slow still breaks us? Then we deal with the break," he said. "But we don't lose each other out of fear." She looked away, but he gently touched her chin, guiding her eyes back to his. "I'm not here to push you into anything," he whispered. "I'm here because I'm in love with you. And loving you means giving you space if that's what you need." Her throat tightened painfully. "Why do you have to be so good to me?" "Because I don't know how else to be with you." The silence that followed wasn't tense. It was full, heavy. Weighted with truth, neither of them could escape. Then a sudden buzzing broke through the air. Her phone vibrated violently on the nightstand. She grabbed it, and her stomach dropped. A message from her mother, and her best friend, and her coworker. All with variations of the same question. "Is it true? Are you dating Lysander Hail?" Her blood ran cold. Lysander saw her expression and immediately sat up straighter. "What's wrong?" She turned the screen toward him. His jaw clenched instantly. "How?" she started, but he was already reaching for his phone. Within seconds, he found it. A blurry photo. Posted online, already circulating. Her, him, leaving the bedroom last night to get water. Her tucked into his side for balance. His hand on her back. It wasn't explicit, it wasn't dramatic. But it was enough. Enough to set the internet on fire. Marielle's heart pounded painfully. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Lysander ran a hand through his hair, frustration tightening every line of his body. "I'll call my PR team. They'll shut it down." "How?" she demanded. "The photo is real. I'll say you're an old friend staying the night because you were upset, that nothing happened, that we're not dating." "And people will believe that?" she asked, voice cracking. His silence was answer enough. She stood abruptly, pacing the room, panic clawing up her spine. "My job, my reputation, people will drag me? Lysander. They'll pick apart my clothes, my body, my past. I can't handle that." "Marielle, breathe," he said, rising. "No," she whispered, stepping back. "This is exactly what I meant. Being with you puts a spotlight on me I'm not ready for." "But you're not alone," he insisted. "I'm right here. We'll handle it together." Her eyes burned. "I don't want to be handled. I want my life back." He flinched, just slightly. But she saw it, felt it. "Marielle, please don't shut me out." "I'm overwhelmed," she whispered. "I need space." "Okay," he said softly. "How much space?" "I don't know. Are you walking away?" The question shattered her. "No," she said quickly, shaking her head. "I just need time. Just a little time. Not forever. Not the end." His chest rose and fell slowly. "Then take the time. I'll wait." She covered her face with her hands, tears slipping through her fingers. He stepped closer, not touching her, but close enough she could feel his presence anchoring her. "Marielle," he murmured, "listen to me." She lowered her hand slowly. "I don't regret last night," he said. "Not a second of it. Not the confession. Not sleeping beside you. Not loving you. Nothing." Her breath trembled. "But I regret that you're hurting right now," he continued. "And if space helps you breathe, then take all the space you need." The gentleness in his voice broke her completely. She stepped into him before she could think, burying her face in his chest. He froze for only half a second before wrapping his arms around her, holding her like she might slip through his fingers. "I'm scared," she whispered. "I know," he murmured into her hair, "but I'm not going anywhere." She clutched his shirt, grounding herself in his warmth. His heartbeat was steady, strong, real. It made everything inside her ache with longing and fear and something she wasn't ready to say aloud. After a long moment, she pulled back slightly. "I'm gonna go home, just for a few days." His jaw tightened, but he nodded. "Okay, I just need to think." "I'll be here," he said, "whenever you're ready." She grabbed her bag, her coat. He walked her to the door, not touching her, but watching her like she was carrying his heart with her. Before she stepped out, she turned back. "Lysander?" He lifted his eyes. She swallowed. Last night, it meant more than a little. Hope flickered in his gaze. Slow, careful, beautiful. "Take your time," he whispered. "Just don't disappear." "I won't." She left. The door closed softly behind her, and both of them leaned against opposite sides of it, breathing hard, heart shaking, knowing that a line had been crossed. A line neither of them wanted to go back behind. Marielle's apartment in Brooklyn felt suffocating. Every ping of her phone, every vibration of a notification made her stomach drop. She hadn't wanted this. She hadn't asked for the world to know about her and Lysander Hail, her best friend, the man she'd trusted more than anyone. But the photo, the posts, the comments, they'd blown up faster than she could breathe. Headlines screamed about a secret tryst, threads speculated about her past, and friends texted asking if she was okay. She sank onto the couch, pressing her face into the cushions. Her phone vibrated again. Another DM, another comment, another news alert. She was trembling. Then her door buzzed. Lysander's name flashed on the screen. She hesitated. Could she face him after last night, after the exposure, after the chaos? Finally, she answered. "Hello?" "Open the door," he said, voice low, calm, unyielding. "Now." Before she could respond, there was a knock. She went to the door, hesitating, heart hammering. When she opened it, he was there, black leather jacket over a tailored suit, hair slightly messy, eyes sharp and intense. He didn't smile. He didn't apologize. He didn't hesitate. "We need to fix this," he said. "I can't," she whispered. "They'll destroy me, Lysander. I don't care," he interrupted, stepping inside before she could stop him. "I care about you, and I won't let them, anyone, do this to you." Her hands shook. "You can't control it. It's online, everywhere." "I can," he said simply. "Watch me." Within the next hour, Lysander's team activated every resource he had. Press releases, controlled statements, clarifications, and subtle but powerful social media posts. But he didn't just hide her. He defended her. Publicly. Honestly. Without spinning a story. Without exaggeration. He said they were close friends. That she was an independent, strong, amazing woman. That she deserved respect. Marielle watched, stunned, as her notifications changed. Comments softened. Friends sent encouragement instead of questions. The tension didn't disappear, but a shield was in place. She looked at him, eyes wide. "You did all this for me?" "I did it because I can," he said, voice quiet but firm. "And because no one gets to hurt you while I'm standing." Tears sprang to her eyes, not from fear now, but from relief. The man she loved, the man who terrified her and made her heart race in equal measure, had chosen her. Publicly. Fearlessly. I don't know what to say." "Say nothing," he said, moving closer. "Just be you. Just let me be here." They stood for a moment in the middle of her apartment, surrounded by the quiet hum of the city outside, the glow of notifications fading into background noise. She realized something. This wasn't about the scandal anymore. This was about trust, about love, about the choice to face life together, regardless of the chaos. Marielle took a shaky breath, stepping closer. "Lysander, I've been so scared. Scared of losing you, scared of losing myself, scared of the world seeing me like this." He cupped her face, thumb brushing a tear away. "You're not losing anything. Not me. Not your life. Not yourself. You're gaining us." Her lips trembled as she whispered, "I don't deserve you." "You deserve everything," he said, "and I'm not stopping until you see it too." For the first time in days, Marielle laughed, a shaky, relieved laugh, but a laugh nonetheless. And Lysander laughed with her, the tension between them softening, warmth flooding the room. She leaned into him, forehead against his chest. "I'm still terrified." "Good. he murmured, voice low and steady. Because fear proves you're alive, but you're not alone anymore. Hours later, after the initial storm had passed, they sat side by side on her couch, phones silenced, the city lights casting long shadows across their faces. Lysander held her hand, thumb stroking hers slowly, the world outside forgotten. You're not going anywhere, he said softly. Promise me you'll stay, no matter how hard it gets. I promise, she whispered. He leaned forward, brushing her hair back, lips just above hers. And I promise I'll never stop choosing you. Her heart skipped, soared, and broke all at once. She smiled through tears. Then I guess we start now, really start. Now, he agreed. And in that moment, the future, uncertain, messy, and spectacular, felt possible. A week later, as news outlets slowly moved on, Marielle sat at her favorite cafe, coffee in hand. Her phone buzzed. A new notification. A comment under one of the stories. If a love like this is real, would you risk everything for it? She looked up at the skyline, sunlight warming her face, and typed back yes, every single time. And with that, she realized, some stories aren't about perfection. They're about courage, honesty, and daring to love, even when the world is watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me if you would risk a lifelong friendship for a love like this. Thanks for watching.